football season is upon us, right? So there's the football fever. I am not one of those overly enthusiastic people about football. I'm not the kind of a person that will leave my house, travel down to Manchester with my kids in my car to go and watch a match, or go down to London, Old Trafford, wherever it is, to go and watch a match. No. But when I was in secondary school, if you find somebody that was in the same school with me, will tell you I used to be a substitute. So whenever there was those football matches going around, and they needed somebody to step in. I was always that girl to be called on. So I did a lot of competitions. And when I went into the field, I tried my best. So I know a little bit about football. I live with a baby, a son who is keen on football, but is not that kind of a boy where he will take you out of the house every weekend or every whatever to take him to football matches. He does his own thing in his own way and is trying to still figure out what he really enjoys in terms of extracurricular activity apart from swimming. So after that rambling is over, let's go back into football. But yesterday, as all of us know by now, it is the World Cup season. So yesterday, we sat down as a family to watch the first opening match, Mexico against the Republic of South Africa. And as the game was continuing, there was this guy, I can't even say his name, that ended up being given a red card. We're still debating amongst all of us who are watching the football if really it was worth getting that red card. Alex, I can see you, my dear friend, or it was something that was unfortunate that, yeah, it was mainly an oversight. And so, as I've been thinking about just this whole football thing and football madness and fever and what we will see as the days and the seasons progress, I was actually thinking about this thing called the game of life, right? We are all in a game called life. And there are rules to compete according to, right? And number one, the most important thing, I was actually chatting with my son this morning I was driving him off to school. I have a day off today. That's why I can record in the morning and not really feel guilty about it. So I was dropping off my kids to school, but my little girl is really little. She's only almost 11 months, so she can't talk too much to me. But my son is very chatty, but also very, very wise kind of a child. So we're just chatting about life in general, and we're talking about the whole competition, the whole thing of in life, it feels like there is just so much competition. And I can see lots of you with me this morning, including my dear friend Alex. And I was saying as there's so many things that we will want to compete against each other. Like life has made it feel like it's been a season of assessments for them. And he'll come home and tell me, oh, they've only told us that the people who scored the highest marks, they didn't tell us the other results. It's basically like the highest results that are being celebrated. I can see you guys. And because life is like that, we are made to basically want the best, which is amazing, which is the greatest thing that can ever happen. We want to be the best. We teach our children. When you go to school, I remember when I was a student, I'll come home and the first thing that my dad will do, I've been away in boarding school for a whole term, bless my father. When I come back home, the first thing he'll ask me was, how did you perform? He didn't even care about how has been your term. How have you been? No, it was like, can I have the report card? So once I've given the report card, the next of the things can follow. And then I was sitting down and thinking, what is the most important thing? To him was my daughter's performance was more important than anything else. To me at the moment, being a parent, I'm thinking about my son when he comes back home. So we were just chatting about the test and about the football and about the World Cup. And he said something to me that really struck a chord with. And he said to me, Mommy, do you know what? I'm very comfortable being me. I'm comfortable with my performance. I'm comfortable with my abilities and capabilities. And so I want to be me. I don't want to be somebody else. And I was thinking, that's interesting because most of the time we are always meant to think of look at your neighbor, look at somebody else, look at your look. Like even sometimes when I talk to my son, I always say, look at your sister. She's not doing that. Or when you are little, you could not do this, but your sister can't do that. We always love to compare. We always like like, and the comparison brings in competition. And as I was thinking and reflecting on this season of football, there's a level playing field. Everybody, the 40 something nations that are participating, everybody has the capabilities to come back home with that cup, right? To lift the trophy at the end of the World Cup. But you know what? Not 40 something countries will carry that trophy home. It's only one country. And I was thinking, why will it be only one country that will carry that football home? It's because wait a minute, they will have learned and they will have competed according to the rules. And I was thinking, of course, I'm a Christian, so looking about at this whole thing about, as I say, the game called life, I was thinking, where's the rules? Who sets the rules for the whole thing about the game of life? Who is the one who's in control? And Alex says the people who are truly happy are the ones who need their own inner validation and not validation from the outside sources. Amazing, right? I love that. So the people who are truly happy are the ones who need their own inner validation, not the validation from outside. And of course, I know now I have an 8-year-old who doesn't need to be validated even by the mom. He can validate himself from inside. And so I was thinking, as I'm going back to my conversation, who sets the rules for this thing called the game of life? Who is the one who sets the rules and says, this is how we will play this game? Right? And I was thinking, well, for those of us who are Christians, there's the basic instructions before leaving earth. That's the Bible that will give you those instructions. But for the other things, so the morality of being a human being, right? I was reading earlier on, I'm just going to look at that. It's Second Timothy 2:5 that says, similarly, anyone who competes as an athlete does not receive the victor's crown except by competing against according to the rules. And I was thinking, reflecting back to yesterday's football, for those of you who watched the match, was that guy really justified to get that red card? I don't know. We have had this conversation and we've had this debate about did he deserve it or did he not deserve it. Obviously, I came in when the first half was coming to close to an end, and my son says somebody had been given a yellow card. So it might be that he had already been warned before, but he did not take heed because in his mind it was like that whole concept, I must win, I must win, I must win, we must win, we must be going to the next thing, we must go to the next round, we must, and then that must overrule the whole idea to remember I need to compete according to the rules. If I don't do that, it's going to become a problem because eventually, for the next two matches, this guy cannot play because he had a red card. And I was thinking about this again, as I said, this game called life. Who sets the rules, number one? But there are those basic morality, there are those things that we have to always constantly remind ourselves. We have to compete according to those rules, lest we get disqualified, lest we get to a point where we don't really, we're not allowed to continue with the matches or things like that. But above everything else, when you're thinking about, like, recently, of course, there's also been a running season. People have been doing some running, those who are professional athletes, right? And you could see when it comes to the time when the gun goes, those people that have a false start, they always get disqualified. But also when they are running, every single runner has this lane. I always think if they're running, let's say in 10 lanes, and I'm in one of the lane and the other one is in another lane, is doing his thing. I've never known this. I'm sitting literally almost next to my router in the house for my Wi-Fi, but it just drops off. I don't know. As I was saying, when there are all these rule lanes and Alex is saying morality is subjective and culturally it will change, obviously, for sure. And as I said, some who's that's what I was saying, who sets all these rules? And I was thinking about when it comes to running, right? When there are all those on a track, there are those lanes that every single competitor needs to be on that lane, on that track. I do a little bit of running, so I know a little bit of rules, but not again too much. As I said, when I was in secondary school, I played a little bit of football, but I was a substitute. I wasn't great enough to be like among the first players, but I mean, I understand a little bit of the rules. So when it comes to that track, try to imagine and visualize it with me. You're seeing like a track, and there each one of those tracks, each one of the lanes has a an athletic person who's going to run in it. And then when the gun goes and everybody needs to go, you're thinking about the end goal. Imagine if you start running, number one, and just transversing through each other's lane, you're going to be disqualified because you need to keep focused. You need to stay in your own lane. And then you have also to run your own pace. If I see today, and I think my friend Alex, who's on call him now with me here on this live stream, if I see Alex and I'm like, wow, Alex is a really speedy runner. He runs so fast. And my mind as I'm running is all fixated on Alex. I'm fixated on how is Alex running? How is he doing his race? Goodness me, I'm going to get lost and eventually I'm going to be disqualified because I'm not going to be focused on my race. What about if I start, as I say, traversing in between each other's lane? I'm thinking, well, my neighbor's lane seems a little bit more shorter than my own lane. So I decide I'm going to actually change the rules and start just going into any other lane. It's not like a marathon where everybody's going everywhere, but I start to go into each other's lane. I'm thinking, like, you know what? As long as I get to the end, I'm going to be disqualified. And if at all, again, I start to run somebody else's race, right? I start to run and competing against somebody else's race. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to wear myself out. I'm going to be an exhausted woman and I'm not going to finish. That's thinking about just encouraging us and saying to those of you guys who are here live with me, we all have a race that is marked for each one of us. Some of us, our race is marked to be the most amazing YouTubers. Some of us, our race is marked to be the most amazing athletes. Some of us, our race is marked to be the most amazing. I don't know, but if at all you get to a point where you start concentrating on somebody else's, right? They say looking at the grass, which looks more greener at a neighbor's rather than looking at your own grass. And they say the grass is always greener where it has been kept. I've got my garden just right. The window here it goes into my garden. That was my GP trying to call me, so I'll go back. That was my GP trying to call me, so I'll go back. I usually switch off my phone when I do these things, but anyway, sometimes you never know. I was saying I've got my garden right behind me, that big window that you're seeing there. It goes into my backyard. And if I don't go to my backyard now and pull out the weeds and plow it and do things like that, it won't really look amazing, right? It won't really look like the most incredible backyard that can ever be. But I can decide today and say, I don't have the perfect backyard, but I can work it out. And that's what, as the moment I tell myself, after having my baby, I have struggled with this thing called weight. I know what I need to do. I'm a nutritionist. I know what I need to eat. I love running. I know what I need to do, but it's just been a struggle. And if I don't concentrate on this body and concentrate on what I can use and learn, and constantly want to compare myself with my neighbor, with the other person, I'm gonna end up a very frustrated human being. My friend Alex says comparison is the thief of joy. True, because comparison is a trap when you start playing in this game called life, and you're constantly looking at my neighbor, my this, my that, my that. Eventually you are never going to be the most happiest person. And I can see you, Sanchester. Hi. Hey, I can see you. Nice to see you, and nice to meet you, Sanchester. Where you watching from? Sin Sinchester, I think that's, or Sean Sanchester. Where are you watching us from? Tell us in the chat. Let us know, right? Let's do a little bit of interaction here. As I was saying, if I decide to constantly look at my sister, look at my brother, look at my son, look at whoever it is who's setting this thing called standards for me, I will feel so discouraged. I'll feel, oh, USA, I've got somebody from America. Well done. Thank you for joining. uh, I feel very discouraged. I feel very demoralized. I feel like the effort that I'm putting in is not synonymous to the output, right? Sometimes I even think about this thing called YouTube. I've done YouTube for a few years now. I do this for, as I say, for myself. But sometimes it does feel like the amount of effort you put in is not equivalent to the output. But if you're constantly looking at, I need it to be like this, I need to be like the other person, gosh, I'm going to wear myself out. I'm going to be the most discontented person. I'm going to be the most annoyed person. But one thing I do every single day, I tell myself, as Philippians 3:13 to 14 says, forgetting what's in the past. If I look back today at my past, 2 years ago, I was one of the most fittest human being. I'll run 5 kilometers in less than 25 minutes. I'll be really on it, right? My Kenyan gazelle coming out, as I used to call it. Now give me 25 minutes um, and tell me, thank you, Sean, and tell me, Claire, go. Ready, steady, go. This is 25 minutes. Come back here in 25 minutes. You've run 5 kilometers. Boy, girl, I'm not going to do it. I'll be like, thank you. I'll be panting coming back. But if I concentrate now constantly on like, I need to get this amount of effort. I'm putting in this amount of effort. So I need to get synonymous amount of feedback out of it. Goodness me, I'm going to kill myself, right? I'm going to be the most unhappy human being. I'm going to be the most unsettled, uncomfortable human being because in my mind, I'm constantly thinking, I've got to be better than that person. It doesn't mean that you cannot have role models. It's good to have people that can role model this thing called life to you. It's good to have people that you role model to. It's good to have people that you look unto. I've got people that I look up to in my life, and I'm like, they're not goals to me, but I would love to be what they have been, and maybe get better than where they've been. I've got siblings that I would love really the journey that they've been on to be able to be on that journey. But at the end of the day, I want to be me. I want to be who God has made me to be, comfortable in my own skin, comfortable in my own color. I got to a point and I was like, I can moan about this thing called going back to my pre-pregnancy weight until I get to a point where I feel frustrated because I don't even know how to dress this thing called post-pregnancy body. I don't know sometimes even how to yeah, I look in the mirror and I'm like, what happened? But I'm not going to allow myself to constantly leave myself in that moment of like regret and moment being caught up right in um being caught up in those moments and spaces and places where I'm like, I need to, no, I need just to be um I need just to be me, do me, and continue to be what I want to be and what God has made me to be, right? So, in the end, I just want to encourage you to say, continue fighting your own battle, continue going through, running in your own lane, and continue being who you are made to be. I don't mind sometimes when I have mean people as well on my YouTube channel on a live stream. Thank you so much, Latchdom. Um, I don't have 9 children, but if it looks like to you I have got 9 children, it's fine. That's a battle that I'm not going to go to. But thank you so much for the comment. So before I go, free speech, I love it. Before I go, I can see some of you who are live with me. Why not just put in the comment section or the chat section to let us know where you're watching us from? Um, Yes, I have children. I have 2 kids. I have an 8-year-old and an 11-month-old. And yeah, you didn't mean to be rude. It's fine. I'm okay. I've been on YouTube live stream and I've learned so much. As I said, I was listening to somebody yesterday and they're saying YouTube grows some resilient muscles in you. It helps you to be more resilient. So, would you like to let me know where you're watching from today? And if you are um, bold enough, which team are you supporting for the World Cup? As I said, we are in the World Cup season, the fever season. So at the end of the day, we will be able to see who's gonna work out and who's gonna be winning in the end. Somebody's asking, you don't have a bunch of kids, taxpayers for and good cases is acceptable. Large donum. Maybe can I shock you to let you know that I actually work, I pay taxes. I'm a lecturer in a university. So I'm not just like one of those people that live on benefits. No, I do not live on benefits. I am blessed by God's grace to be able to contribute to the economy of the United Kingdom. And I know where you're coming from, but maybe, as I said, sometimes they just say being kind. Being kind is a free thing because we live in a world where everybody has their own battles that they are fighting. So when it comes to being just a little bit kind, it can be helpful. So I understand this is a free speech place, and I don't want to be rude to anyone because I mean I'm a Christian, and morality is number one, the most important thing that keeps me going. So I wouldn't judge you for whatever that you want to say. As I said, it's a free speech. And so I don't want to be annoyed by what you've said. I forgive you and I let go because obviously, as I said, I don't do benefits. I've never claimed benefits for almost 20 years that I've lived in the UK by God's grace because I work and I believe in working hard. And as I said, I am today I am on leave. That's hence the reason why I am doing this. But if not, I will be at work. Um, Sean is asking, how many brothers and sisters do you have? How many brothers and sisters do you have? I come from a really big family. My mother and father had a total of 10 kids. So I've got we have 9 surviving and 7 girls and 2 boys, and I'm one of those 7 girls. Um, I don't know what you're all about, Latchdam. I'll just ignore. I'm sorry. I've never ignored someone on a live stream, but I'm terribly sorry. I'll just have to ignore what is going on in your world. But also, just to tell you, Latchdam, I'm feeling like you have your own battles that are going on in your mind, and I don't want to really really judge that battles, but I just wanted to let you know that you're a loved person. You're a lovely person. At the moment, I am terribly sorry because I am not going to go into immigration. I'm an immigrant myself, and I'm grateful for the fact that I have been able to migrate, as I said, to come to the UK, but also I contribute to the life of other people. So I don't want to talk about immigration. So I'm just looking through the messages. I don't want to talk about immigration because whatever the sentiments that you hold against or for immigration, that's beyond my pay grade. So because of that, I allow me not to really comment on that. Sorry about your loss. So Shin says you have many sisters. I love it. Growing up in a big household it was a nice challenge. And we are that's why I told you today I was talking about competition because I learned when you have eight siblings to really do something to be able to stand out. And I don't want to go in life thinking about that. And I have two children that I always say to them, I want each one of them to be individual and to be individual human beings. My like Tom says now, I lost my dad, my brother, my mother. I got collectors coming after me. Sympathy towards others I can find wherever it is, blah blah blah. I mean, as I said, I respect you, and I just want you to know that God loves you, and I do not condemn you. And honestly, I'm not a trained counselor, so it's beyond, as I said, my pay grade to be able to sort out your issues. I don't know much about you, so I'm not gonna be able to respond or to help you. But I just want to say yeah, know that you're loved. God loves you irrespective of who you are, irrespective of where you're coming from. And I know there is a lot, I can see bleeding of pain in your heart, but I hope that you find that grace to just know you are a loved human being and you can extend that love to yourself, but also to other human beings. Um, my friend Alex, somebody is asking where Alex, what he does. Alex is a really good friend of mine. We've worked with Alex before for so many years, and then we parted ways, but we're still in very good communication and contact. And he's one of those people that motivates me because Alex was really chubby when I knew him a couple of years ago, and he's worked so hard to really lose a lot of weight, but also to turn. So one day I'll convince Alex to do a live with me, but wish me luck trying to find that with Alex. Alex says, funny he talks about being on benefits, yet sits here winding people up and suggesting he doesn't have a job. I said, I'm not going to go into that. My dear friend Alex, allow me not to join into that battle. They say not every battle that you are invited in life you need to participate in. So Latch Dunham has his own battles, which is fighting. And as I said, I just want to love on him, but I'm not going to be judgmental and I'm not going to be part of condemning him, whether he talks about benefits or not. As I said, you'll be pleased to know an immigrant who works hard to pay her own taxes and pay her own bills. And I don't live in a council home either. I live in my own house, which we own by God's grace. So that's something that I'm grateful for. So I'll leave it there. Uh, Oh, thank you so much, Sean, for subscribing. I truly appreciate that. Alex, Alex is saying he's at uni. He decided to retrain, so that's the reason why he's saying he's at uni. But Alex is an amazing, amazing friend. He's been a friend of mine for a very long time. So give it up for Alex. Give him some applause. He's really, really gold. If you have one or two friends like Alex, stick with them because he's really amazing. Um, I'll not comment on that, Lashdom. And then I don't know. Sometimes I'm literally sitting next to my Wi-Fi, but if I'm lagging and there is any issues with my connection, I terribly apologize because for some reason I think we need to check our Wi-Fi router. It seems like there's a problem with that. So if I'm lagging, I'm terribly sorry about that. Hey, guys, um, amazing. Thank you. I need to see from those who are still remaining, which team are you supporting for World Cup? Alex, which team are you supporting? Who are your um who is your bet on to win World Cup? Or anybody who wants to be bold to say to me, which team are you supporting? What do you think will be the winner? World Cup. Yeah, I'm talking about World Cup, Lashdom. Who do you think is gonna be the winner? I got lost. Anyway, guys, I've got to go. As I said, I have a day off today. Um, when growing up in a somebody's so interested in my family more than um how many I've got lots of sisters, so I've got six sisters. So obviously all of us are now grown up. So my youngest sister is 39, 39, 29, 29 or 30. So we no longer fight because obviously we each one of us are in our own spaces. We each one of us are very in very different places. So because of that, I've got sisters all over the world. I've got sisters in Kenya, I've got sisters in Germany, I've got sisters in America, I've got sisters everywhere. So because of that, we don't really have a space of fighting. Rather, we are more at the moment. Um, and of course, we don't have our parents. As I said, if you know my story a little bit, both of my parents are passed. My mom is gonna be this June. She'll be 3 years, no, 4 years, 2022, 23, 24, 25, 4 years since she passed away. So she was the last one. So my dad passed away in 2016. Then mom passed away on Father's Day in 2022. So for me, Father's Day, which is coming up very soon, is usually a little bit of a difficult time. But hey, we thank God. So guys, I want to go. Yeah. I want to go away, but before I go away, I just want to say I'm so glad. I'm so thankful for those of you who've been live with me, those who stuck until the end. Sean, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I mean, I'm not saying this to get sympathy. No, it's just anniversaries are a thing. So when the anniversaries come, obviously, there will be times when I remember my parents and yeah. Hmm. I don't want to talk about that. It's okay. I'll leave it for now. Um, yeah, I'll leave it for now. Let's leave it there. So thank you so much for joining. Where are you from? Sridat is asking, where are you from? I'm originally Kenyan, so I was born and bred in Kenya. That's why I usually say I'm a village girl. I grew up in the village. And then later on in life, I migrated to the United Kingdom where I live and work at the moment. But I don't know what the future has in store for me. So, guys, I will go away at the moment. I'll go. But before I go, if you want to talk about your football team, who's your favorite? Are you are we young? I don't know. I'm old. Who's your favorite? Nobody's willing to tell me. Nobody's willing to tell me what they're supporting. I can see the other comments. Well, honestly, bye, guys. Have a lovely day. I've got to go and do other things. I've got to call back my doctor who was trying to call me when I was on the live stream and go and report myself and say I wasn't available because I was doing YouTube. Amazing. Know that you're loved as I lock out or clock out and go log off. Know that you're loved and celebrated and appreciated. Latchdom, as I said, I truly love you and I pray that you know God loves you more than I do. And I hope that you find grace to just let go of whatever that is happening in your life and to know that there are decent human beings out there who are willing to do a life with God. So have an amazing day. And before I go, if you've never had that personal connection, because it all comes back to this journey, as I said, the game called life, and it all comes back to one day will have to stand before that throne and give an account. So if you don't have that relationship and have never made that personal commitment, it starts with that personal commitment. My prayer is that you will find an opportunity to just know God by yourself, like them, and know that He loves you, and have an amazing day. Know that you loved, celebrated, and appreciated. Thank you so much for your time. If you've not done so, why not just click on that share, like, subscribe button? Well, anyway, I'll go. Have a great day. Have an amazing day, Sean. I appreciate you from America. Next time I come to visit my siblings who are down there, maybe I may meet you one day. You never know. This world is a very small world. Take care, guys. Have a blessed day. And now go and enjoy the rest of my leave. And for now, I'll leave you with grace. Goodbye and take care. Bye bye.